Hi, stamping friends. This is Sherry Parker coming to you live on Wednesday, April 30th, the last day of April. Can't believe it. So what that means is next week, May 6th, our new catalog and online exclusives go live. So it's really a great time of year for us always. But also, if there are any things in the retiring items that you would like to get, this is the time to get them. Retiring in colors, as well as some of the last chance items. So stock up on cardstock before prices go up. So that kind of thing, just you have another week to do that. It's been a great week for me. I had the wonderful opportunity to go on a girls trip for a few days over the weekend to Sedona, Arizona. And it was so beautiful there. And that was my inspiration for tonight. So we're going to make some really pretty scenery cards. I think you're going to like them. A couple of reminders. So I mentioned the new catalog. And I'm also curious who set up an online account with Stampin' Up! As of April 15th, we have a whole new rewards program. So hopefully you've had an opportunity to go on to opt in to the rewards program and start earning free stuff. So, and keep an eye out because we will be having a fun little promotion coming up this weekend. So more details will be on my Facebook page. So stay tuned on that. Also, my website is sherrythomas.stampinup.net. If you ever have any questions or can't find anything, please contact me. I'm always here to help and help you navigate through our new system and everything. I do have a new catalog open house on May 18th, and I would love it if you stop by. Just let me know you're coming. There's no cost. You can make some projects, earn some prizes. If you're having any difficulty setting up an account, come on, we'll get you all set up. So would love it if you could make it. Hey everyone, thank you for joining. So happy that you're here. All right, so I'm gonna turn my camera around and I'm gonna show you the projects we're gonna make tonight because they are all scenery inspired. So I'm gonna turn that over right now. All right, so when I was in Arizona, you know, the views are just so beautiful. So like this card right here, like the sunsets in Arizona, it's what it reminded me of. So I wanted to use some of our Scenery Designer Series paper just to show you, hey Ruth, what beautiful cards you can make with very little effort because the patterns are so beautiful. So tonight I'm going to be using 3 different Designer Series paper packs, and they're all 6x6. The first one is the Splendid Autumn. I've used this before. It's not really just autumn, but you know there are some autumn scenery scenes in there, but there's also a lot of other things. I will also be using Everyday Skies and this beautiful just cloud formation, sunset, sunrises, and just real pretty skies. And then the last pack of paper is called Beautiful Gallery. This will actually be in our new catalog, so it's very pretty. And the thing about it, hence the name, is that everything in here could essentially be framed. I mean, it's just so pretty. So I thought I would use some of this paper to just give you a sneak peek at what's to come. I will be doing some other projects with this paper in the future, but I just thought it's so pretty that I wanted to let you see how pretty it was. So I will set that aside and kind of show you what we're making. We're gonna make 3 cards tonight using Heroing, our Designer Series paper. Very simple. You've probably seen this kind of thing where you just basically cut similar size pieces and then put them on the card front and you're good to go. Another here where you're basically making, it's kind of like a puzzle, how it fits together, and then layer it with some dies. And then last but not least, this is a really fun card that, and I apologize for the noise because I think they're mowing, of course, right now. So this is a really cool fun fold card using the Designer Series paper in the seam. So you can see how it just lines right up like that. So it's really pretty. All right, we'll get started with our first card. And this is using the Splendid Autumn Designer Series paper. Yes, I love that gallery paper too, Michelle. It's so pretty. So for this particular card, oh, before I get started, sorry, I'm gonna show you the stamp sets we're using. Wonderful Thoughts, this is a great stamp set, you know, lots of different greetings. We'll use that for a couple of the cards. And then with that beautiful gallery paper I showed you, part of the suite is the Gallery Blooms with different stamp sets. There's also some great die cuts, including like frames, so it could look like framed art. So these are the stamp sets we'll be using tonight. Okay, so for the first card here, I have Fresh Freesia. It's my card base. So I just cut a half sheet there, right there. And then what I've done here is I've got a quarter sheet of the As Your Afternoon, and that will go right on the card front like that. And then really, you know, pick a piece of paper. So, say you pick this piece, and then, you could just put that as the whole card front and, be good to go. Or you could add a little interest and cut it up like I did here. So what I did for this piece is I cut it down to 3 3/4 by 5, and then I sliced it into strips. So, and it's just like a puzzle how it goes together like that. I mean, that's really all that there is to this setup. So it's really easy to do, and you can do it with any designer series paper. I think it's really pretty with the scenery papers because it almost looks like you're looking out a window. So we'll go ahead and put that card base, get that ready, and then we'll start lining our pieces up. And each of these pieces measure about a little more than 1.5 tall by, oh, hey, Sandy. Yes, the arches, I know. Would you believe I have been trying to order those and I have not been able to order them. So they are so, so pretty. So I just checked today and they weren't available. So I'm hoping the next time they become available that I can get them. So, all right. So I lined those pieces up like that. So they're 1.5 by 3 3/4. It might just be slightly over 1.5. And again, you can eyeball this, I don't tend to make things like perfectly lined up. I just kind of eyeball it. So you've got your scene, and then I'm gonna put a little bit of adhesive here, and I just have some gold cord, and I'm really just gonna loop it back and forth. And this is really just to add a little bit of interest behind the card. So you don't have to do this, but I always think it's nice to add something behind the grading like that. I have a small little white piece here that I pre-cut. It's from the Nested Essentials dies, which I love. And with the coordinating As Your Afternoon, I stamped from that set I showed you, you can do amazing things. And we'll go ahead and put that on the front of our card. And just like that, it's done in a matter of minutes. So see how easy it is to create something very pretty and elegant. And like Sandy said, you could do this with all different dies. And I mean, really the sky's the limit on this one. So that is our first card here, and very, very simple. All right, next up, we're going to make this card here. And this is the one I think that really I was inspired from Arizona, because this is what the skies really look like. It's so, so pretty, desert skies with all the different colors. So I've got a petal pink as my base, and it's just a half a sheet of cardstock, and this one will be a horizontal orientation. And then I picked out a piece of the designer series paper. I cut it down, so the layering piece is 4 by 5 1/4, and then this piece would be 3 3/4 by 5. Okay, so they're all just layered really nicely. But the little trick here is I think it really goes this way because the sun's coming up. For this guy, I'm using the Nested Essentials, and I picked out 2 of the nesting shapes. And what I'm gonna do is first run the smaller one through here. So this is creating, our little puzzle look. So I'm gonna run this through the Stampin' Die Cut machine, and then I'll run the bigger one here. Yes, you could layer the papers and then layer, but if you cut them out of your base, you can get more mileage out of your paper and you will not be covering it up. So I'll show you what I mean. First, I will die cut this through my die cut machine. And I'm just over here to the side doing that because it tends to shake my table when I do it that way. So I'm gonna run it through here real quick. And then what happens is you end up with your accent piece, and then you have this piece. And then I did the same thing with the larger one. Oops. And I cut it out. So there's my card base. And you can see I'm going to be layering and layering. And then when I cover that up, you'll never know that there's a hole in the middle. And this is the best way to get the most mileage out of your cardstock. So I will go ahead and adhere. This is Blackberry Bliss. I think it looks so pretty with this petal pink. So glue that one down first. And then my designer series paper piece, I will put right on top like that. So you can see how it all lines up. You might say, well, that looks terrible. But the secret is that the pieces you just cut out are gonna cover all that up. So no one will ever see that unless they tear your card apart. So first thing I'll do is layer my sunset to that bigger piece like that. And then I'm gonna go ahead and pop this up with dimensionals. Turn it over and see how it's like a puzzle. It lines up just like that. And place that right on top. So very simple thing to do, but yet it adds a lot of interest just by adding that layer, that dimension. And then on a piece of scrap of the Blackberry Bliss, I went ahead and I stamped Congratulations, which is from that same Wonderful Thoughts stamp set. And I embossed it, which you do using a Versamark and then gold powder, and then you heat emboss it. So I think most people know how to do that. And so I went ahead and did it in advance, so you wouldn't have to see me do that. And I'm gonna just trim off the edges here, and I'm eyeballing it. I'm gonna make a little banner that will layer right there on top. And I think again, I'll use dimensionals. Put that on my card front. And this one's almost done as well. So you can see how the scenery really just, it does the work for you. I mean, I know it's very simple, but I think it's very elegant and pretty. I think this one would be a really nice graduation card, honestly. So yes, me too, Dawn. I am so, so glad they are too. Staying in the new catalog. These are some gold sequins. I'm not 100% sure these are current things. These embellishments come and go, but again, use stuff you have. We always have some kind of a gold something. So I put a few gold sequins on there. And again, I'm using the same gold cord that I used on the first card. And I'm gonna make just a decoration to put around the spine of the card here. So you could tie a bow or a knot, whatever you like. Regardless, I'll probably tie a knot first just to try to hold it down. And then you can make it into a bow if you wanted. So very simple to do. And the thing about twine is it'll lie a little bit flatter than if you were to use ribbon. So, all right. So there is, hey Karen, there is the second card. I really think this is simple and elegant. And again, I'm probably gonna use that as a graduation card this year because it is about that time for graduation. All right, the last card we're gonna make is this one here. And I'm most excited about this because it's using some newspaper from the gallery designer series paper. There are so many pretty prints. I love this print. I fell in love with this. We're going to England this summer, and it just reminds me of the English countryside. So I thought, oh, I'm gonna make a card using this. So for this card, what you'll do is you'll take a half sheet of cardstock. Right here I have, this is our basic beige, and I'm going to score it at 2 1/8, and then also at 4 1/4. So basically you're scoring it in half and then half again. That's essentially what you're doing. So I've got those 2 score lines there. So we'll fold it in half like a card and then fold it out, okay? So that is the base of your card. And then for your scenery, you'll have to kind of figure out, you know, what you're going to want to do. For this card, you're going to use the whole 6 inches across. You're just going to need to scale it down to about 5 1/4. So, and that way it'll fit on our card. So I'm going to cut some from the bottom because I love all this, the sky with the house and everything. So at 5 1/4, I'll just trim off the bottom. Okay. And you could use this piece, you know, it has a really subtle pattern. You could use that as an accent somewhere else if you wanted. I never throw stuff away. So there is our reduced height piece of paper, and now we'll just cut it every 2 inches. And we'll make our nice little, calling it like an accordion fold. And then all we do is piece it together. So it's, again, like you're looking out a window. So we'll go ahead and glue those down. And these strips are 2 by 5 1/4. So they fit perfectly onto this card base like so. So we'll go just from left to right. And put this one in the middle. I'm really excited. We're going to London, but also to the Cotswolds, which is really the countryside in England. And I think, like if you've ever seen the movie The Holiday, those little country houses, I think it's going to be kind of like that. I guess I'll find out when I go, but that's what I'm picturing in my mind. So this scene really seems like that to me. So see how that works? Like that. And then for this last panel here, you can decorate how you want. I cut out a piece of Lost Lagoon that's the same dimensions as these strips, so 2 by 5 1/4. And I'll go ahead and adhere that down. And then for the layer on top of it, it's just 1/8 of an inch smaller so that you can see the Lost Lagoon border. But I'm going to stamp using the Lost Lagoon ink from that coordinating stamp set. I'm here for you always. And then there's a bunch of different pretty like flower pieces. And I thought this would be just a nice, real soft little accent to put there on the card. So we will glue that down. Everything's all bunched up over to the side. Sorry, guys. And this will go on top like that. So you could embellish this and add some different, you know, textures and layers. You could cut some die cuts, add sequins, do whatever you want. But I wanted to show you the simplicity sometimes is very nice. And there's, you know, a lot to be said for keeping things simple. So we're gonna leave it very basic like this. The last thing we're gonna do is add a ribbon so that way you can keep it shut. So I thought what I would do is use some tear tape across the back here, like so. And then that will secure the ribbon so that when you open and close it, it doesn't move. So I have a piece of the coordinating basic beige ribbon, and we'll just set that in the back like that. Turn it over. And you can tie a bow. You could do a knot if you prefer. Bows are a little bit easier to open for the recipient, so we will. I'm going to use a bow this time. So there is our little card. So I hope you like this style. I'd never made one like this before, and I saw it, maybe it was on Pinterest even, I don't know. I get a lot of inspiration from Pinterest sometimes. But you can see how the scenery is really the star of this show. And I hope, you know, you like this as much as me. I really think the papers are so gorgeous that you don't have to rack your brain and like, oh, I gotta, you know, create this really, you know, hard card. You've got all the elements that you need right there in the paper. So those are the 3 cards for tonight. And as always, when you comment on or share any of my Facebook Live videos, your name is automatically entered in to win the projects I make that night. And because Facebook does delete videos after 30 days, I am posting these each night onto my YouTube channel. And there's a link to it on my Facebook page. So all of my videos will be posted on there eventually. I think I've got about 40 of them on there so far. So you can go back and watch, or get measurements, things like that. All right, so that is our project tonight. I'm going to draw for last week's winners. So those of you that did comment on our share last week, your name is in my little glass here, and I will draw. This is our belly band card, which was a really fun fold. So if you missed that, it is on my YouTube page. It's still on Facebook before they delete it, so you can watch that, and I have the measurements posted as well. So let's see who is the winner of last week's card, and that is Cheryl Brunn. There you go, Cheryl. So those are the cards for tonight, and I am so happy that you joined me, and I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your week. Please let me know if you want to come to my open house on May 18th. I would love to see you. If you have any questions on setting up your customer account to get rewards, please reach out to me. I'm more than happy to help you with that. And also, if you didn't receive a catalog in the mail and want one, let me know as well. I have catalogs. You can grab one at the open house. I can mail one to you. I would just charge you for postage, or you can pick one up anytime. So thank you again. Have a wonderful rest of your week. Happy May tomorrow, and take care. Bye-bye.